So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my episode 5 review of Loki. I will probably just quickly touch on non-spoilers, then go into spoilers. It's a fantastic episode yet again. I consistently really like watching this show. I genuinely think it's a very good show. I think, in fact, this episode excels with most things. It's a very good show. Like, it's not... When I say excel, look... It's not Oscar bait. Of course it's not. You know, you review things on kind of a different level. But this is what I was hoping for when Marvel announced that they were doing TV shows, right? This kind of quality. Not WandaVision. That was not the kind of quality I was hoping for. I was hoping for something much better, i.e. Loki. And I think a lot of it is actually to do with Tom Hiddleston's character of Loki. Like, he's been so well liked during the run that he's had in the role. And of course, the writing is a massive part of that as well. WandaVision was whatever. But I'm not here to discuss all of that anyway. Main point is to talk about this episode. Great episode. Really good episode. Now, of course, at the end of the last episode, he found himself woken up with the other Lokis. There's only two here in this image, but he was woken up by the other Lokis. And that set up a really interesting... opener for this one, I guess. Like, what's going to happen? Who are these people? Where is he as well? And did it pay itself off? Yeah, I think it's starting to pay itself off. I think the problem is with a lot of Marvel shows and movies, generally speaking, is that they have very little payoff. This is setting itself up for a fantastic payoff. Like a really good payoff. And I think it's going to do really well in that final episode next week. So... from a non-spoiler perspective, loads of Easter eggs. Can't reveal them, but lots of really good Easter eggs, actually, for comic book fans, as well as just general Marvel fans alike. Tons of Easter eggs. I tell you what I really do like about what they're doing here with the story, anyway, is all to do with Loki as a character, as a person, as someone who is trying to, become a better individual, learning about himself, and I guess the narrative itself sets that up really nicely. But it's also quite comical in that fashion as well. And what I mean by that is Loki is being taught lessons by another Loki, another version of himself, a better version of himself, to some degree. But you could also say probably not, because he is the also instigator behind her becoming better as well, Sylvie. That interaction there is actually really touching, but it's also very comical, because who better to teach Loki a lesson than himself? I think that's quite funny, to be perfectly honest. And this episode, I think, did a really good job of depicting why these certain situations happen to Loki all in all, because of the other Lokis in the episode. Everything about how this show looks, there's not much to review. Like, it all looks good. Like, it all has looked good. In my eyes, anyway, it all has looked good. And I think some of the special effects in this episode were actually better than some of the other episodes. I think that they did a really good job of the green screen, the set pieces, and of course, the sound stages that they'd inevitably used. The acting has been good all round by pretty much everyone. Even this kid Loki, I didn't hate. Even I thought he did a pretty good job, to be honest. Tom Hiddleston especially, he doesn't bring a weaker performance than what we're used to. He's not phoning it in for TV. He's having a really good time playing this character, and he's bringing his A game. And it's great. It's really great. Sylvie, the actress, yeah, good. I like her. And she's been a bit of an unknown for a long time. British actress. Not seen her in anything in terms of shows in the UK. But I think this will be a breakout moment for her. So, good episode, can strongly recommend. I can't reveal anything in non-spoilers because there's so many bloody cameos and Easter eggs and you name it, it's in there. But are they setting up for a satisfying payoff? Yeah, all the setup's there. They just have to land this final episode, and I think they're going to. Looking at it, narratively wise, it's set up in a really good way. If they don't stick this landing... How would you not? basically. So there you go. Let's touch on spoilers now. Again, strong recommendation. I know loads of people hate it. I don't give a shit. Let me know your thoughts down below, but we're going to touch on spoilers now. Spoilers, right? Spoilers. So, and I will touch on characters being better than one another and even, and because a lot of people think Loki's been sidelined in his own show, and I really do disagree with that statement. Especially this episode did a really good job of depicting that. So he wakes up in the Void. This is a place at the end of time, right? It's the Void at the end of time. And the other Lokis are there. They take him to their hideout, their secret hideout, where boy Loki is the king. King Loki, I guess you could say. And then there's some sort of whining and moaning between them all about who's doing what and who's good at this and blah, blah, blah. But we learn about how these characters have, you know, their nexus events, what caused them and things like this. And they are basically just destined to be alone. That's what old man Loki says anyway. He exiled himself to a planet after the situation with Thanos. He magicked himself an apparition and he hid as debris. Thanos thought he killed him, and he then walked off, floated off, you know, drove off, whatever, to a planet, and he just hid until the end of his time. But he got lonely. He wanted to see whether anyone missed him, as you would do. And the moment he was about to set foot off the planet, the TVA came up and nabbed him, because Lokis are destined to be alone. They are supposed to be alone, and, you know, apparently anyway, that's what was said. Now, Sylvie then questions the TVA woman that she's had hostage. And push comes to shove, she has to basically prune herself to get to the Void. Now, in the Void is Alioth. Alioth is a pretty obscure character. Alioth does set up Kang the Conqueror, so what everyone thought was going to happen is probably going to happen. But that's good. Setting up and actually paying it off is good. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to subvert expectations non-stop. You know, it's been a slow, winding road to get here. Bloody stick the landing. You're going to have to be an absolute idiot not to stick this landing. No, you've got to be majorly terrible at writing to not stick this landing. So Alioth is there, a matter-eating monster, and Loki's plan is to go and kill it. Sylvie turns up, and Sylvie's plan is to enchant it. There's a bit of a back and forth between the two of like, oh, your plan was to kill it, what an idiot, Sylvie says. And people would probably see that as Loki being put down, but not so, because the only reason Sylvie is able to enchant it is with Loki's help. And Loki is the key to realizing that anyway. Because this whole episode builds to them confronting Alioth. And when they confront Alioth, old man Loki comes out to help him, because obviously he sees it's his time to shine, you know. From some dialogue actually from Owen Wilson's Mobius that comes back and saves Sylvie. But whilst Mobius is kind of sat around with them, and Loki and Sylvie are sort of sat together and discussing things, there's a bit of dialogue from Mobius between old man Loki and Mobius. Old man Loki is like, well, you just like that, you're going to turn. And Mobius is like, yeah, it's never too late to change. So it's that key piece of dialogue there that sticks with old man Loki, and the reason why he turns up to confront Alioth to give Sylvie and Loki the upper hand. And in doing so, Loki's dialogue is, we're stronger than we think. And then Sylvie says, no, you can do it. I believe in you. You can do the enchanting thing. We can all do it. So that was really good. And they enchant Alioth, part like the Red Sea, and there's a castle there. It's going to be Kang the Conqueror. If it's not, god damn, you got some problems, Marvel. You got some big problems if you don't reveal Kang the Conqueror next episode. Because all set up. It's like a yeah, it's cock tease, isn't it? It's not good. So great episode. Easter eggs, cameos. The Thanos copter is there. That was brilliant. Thanos' ship was there, the actual massive ship. If you don't know, the Thanos copter is like a really dumb, crap Marvel comic. It's so dumb. But yes, the Thanos copter was there. There was Throg, Thor Frog, locked in a jar. Pretty cool. So yeah, I think this was really good. I think they nailed it. I think the interaction between Loki and Sylvie is good. I actually do hope Sylvie lives on and continues into Marvel movies. I would watch that. I would genuinely watch that. But I don't think that they're going to. But I would 100% watch that. 100%. I think she's good. And I think her interaction with Tom Hiddleston lands. It's very touching. It's weird because they're the same person, but not the same person. They're variants of one another. So it's quite odd. But it's touching and it's nice. So anyway, let me know what you think down below. Cheers, guys. Take care.